Most of the gear in my camera bag hasn't changed for the last 4 years, but this year we have something very special in the top compartment here. So, if this is your first time here, I just want to say hi, hope everything is good with you, and welcome to the channel. My name is Peter, and I am a camera nerd that is moving into the DIY direction a little bit, but if you like a little bit of everything, then you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button. This camera bag, we're going to start here, is something that I got from my good friend, Peter McKinnon.
You need the Coyote camera bag.
Yeah, I don't have it.
I have one extra, brand new.
How am I gonna get that on the plane?
Leave that one behind.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, or just put it on your front.
Dude, that's sick.
Heck yeah, dude. Gifts all around.
I guess you could say that I made a lightning visit to Canada last year in November. And then I met up with Peter, I handed him one of my cyborgs, and he handed me this. The 25-liter Peter McKinnon Nomadic camera bag. And I think that this color is named Coyote. Love the color, it looks sick. And I'm going to use this camera bag all the way until it breaks, because it's been one of my absolute favorite camera bags that I've used. So on the side here, I got the good old trustworthy Peak Design travel tripod in carbon fiber. And this, man, like, I don't know for how long this has been around, but it has to be at least 4 or 5 years at this point. It is sturdy, reliable, and it is lightweight. I have been using this every single day since I got it, and it hasn't broken. It is still great. When you're shooting vertical, there's still this tiny issue when you want to tilt the head like this, but you have to kind of like find the right angle to be able to do it. Then again, for me, I shoot most of my videos horizontally, and whenever I do shoot vertically, I don't need to have a bunch of different angles. I can just put it in one angle and then I'm done. And on the shoulder strap, I have the Peak Design camera plate, or whatever this is called. It is basically capable of carrying my camera. So whenever I'm traveling, whenever I'm going somewhere and I want to have the camera ready at the go, it doesn't take up any space, it doesn't take up any more weight. It is also very reliable. This is also something that I've been using for the last 4 or 5 years at this point. It is a little bit pricey, but it's worth every single penny that you pay for it. So can highly recommend that as well. Now, let's open up the top compartment so that I can show you what I have been working on for the last 1 year together with Tilta. This is the Tilta Prime Gear Arc, the all-in-one recharge companion. So approximately a year ago, I reached out to Tilta and started to talk to them about making something that had the features that I was missing. We started to work on this, we started to discuss, we started to talk about all the features that we wanted, and this is the result of just that. You can have 2 Sony NP-F set batteries in here, and then if you press this button, you're gonna be able to see the status of the batteries right there. And the memory card slot can also store a micro SD card. This is just the storage module to be able to bring a little bit of extra cards, but the cool part is here. So you can see that we have 2 slots, 1 SD card slot and 1 micro SD. But we also have 2 USB-C ports. So we have 1 for charging and 1 for data transfer. And if you're anything like me, whenever you're out and about and you're shooting with your drone, you're shooting with your action camera, you're shooting with your big camera, you have multiple different SD cards that you want to transfer at the same time. This enables you to transfer both your big camera and your drone shots at the same time. This is one of the key features that I've been wanting to have in a unit like this for a very long time. But also take a look at this, how satisfying this is. So you close it, magnets, huh? Magnets, man. But it also keeps your batteries more safe so that they don't fall out when you shake it, and it fast charges your batteries. You can also use your batteries as a power bank to charge your phone. One of the things that we did consider when we made this unit was to include a battery in the actual units to be able to charge the batteries when you put them in. But this is already kind of heavy when you add the batteries. So if you were to add another battery that is capable of charging 2 batteries, this would be more than half a kilo. And if you're doing traveling and you're on the go and you're having your camera bag on your back at all times, you know that half a kilo makes a lot of difference in your camera bag. You might also be wondering why we didn't go for the CF Express card reader as well. There's a good reason for that, and it's still called heat dissipation. I don't know if you've tried one of these units, but basically if you look at the size of this card reader, this is the Sony CF Express Type A, it is almost as big as the actual unit. To be able to have this in this and to be able to have the heat coming out of this would also mean that we would have to make this bigger, and it would also cost a whole lot more. But to be able to work on something like this together with a brand like Tilta is like a dream come true. I mean, like I've been using Tilta products ever since I started my YouTube channel. It's been a fantastic collaboration to be able to bring this to life. And also, take a look at this. This is probably the best thing about the whole thing. You see that? That's the Tilta logo combined with the Prime Gear logo. Every time that I launch a product, it gives me this incredibly surreal feeling that this is something I've been working on, and this is something that we brought to life that people don't know until now. So I'm gonna drop a link down below so you can read everything about this, see where you can buy it, and I really hope that you'll like it as much as I do. I've been using this for over 6 months at this point, and it is fantastic. Next up is one of the most important lenses that I got, which is the Sony 70-200 f2.8 GM lens. It is one of those lenses that just work. You know when you need it and you know what it can do, and whenever you need to have this lens, it does what it's supposed to do. I have an entire video dedicated to this lens, so if you want to check that out, link is in the description. Next up then is my vlogging setup. And this is something that you probably have seen before. We have the 16-35 GM Mark I, and then we have the Sony ZV-E1, which is probably one of my all-time favorite cameras when it comes to vlogging and making content. Then we have the microphone, which is not the Sony ECM B1M. That's the one that I'm using right now. But this is called, hello? What are you called, eh? It's basically a little brother of the ECM B1M, so I'm gonna put the text right here. But this setup has been the go-to setup for my vlogging needs for the last 4 years or 3.5 years. I can't remember when it was released. All the features of the FX3, and it's just a powerhouse of a camera. The only downside that I've talked about in so many videos is that it overheats at times. That is when you're shooting long takes, like 45 plus minutes. And the 16-35 is probably the lens that I use the absolute most. Like the majority of the videos that I make here on the channel is made with this lens. And when you're vlogging, there's no option. I mean, like some people go for the 12-24, but being able to use the clear image zoom together with this lens means that you have a 16-35 but also a 35-50, which I think is insane. So it's basically a 16-50 millimeter lens. 4 years later, and I can highly recommend this setup. Let's move on to the next one. The Cyborg Tech Organizer. I was working on this for a little more than 1 year together with SP Tech, and it turned out way better than I could ever imagine. Take a look at this setup. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. What do we got here? First off, the Loop Gear SK05 Pro flashlight. Freaking amazing flashlight, to be honest. See that? You can see the battery status. And then you can have multiple different colors on an LED strip right there. And then you have a spotlight. You also have a floodlight. You can also use this as a power bank, so you don't need to bring an actual power bank. And when you combine this together with the Arc, you have a very good backup setup, because then you can charge your camera batteries with something like this in the Arc or whatever you kind of want to do. Next thing is the Ubiquiti UTR, which is a travel router. I think you say router, right? And this tiny thing is actually super important if you're traveling and you have a unified setup at home, because instead of using the VPN on your phone and your individual device, you can just connect this and all your different devices will connect to this as a VPN instead. Staying at a hotel and you have your laptop, you have your phone, iPad that is going to use the hotel Wi-Fi, but you don't want people to actually be able to see you on the hotel Wi-Fi, just connect to this because it creates the same Wi-Fi that you got at home, but uses a VPN to connect to your unit at home. It is one of those things that I'm like How does this even work? How do you make this? Next thing is the Satechi Power Brick that I call it. It's basically a USB-C hub. This is the 165 watt. I've been using this now for a little bit more than 4 years. Still one of my favorite. There is stronger versions than this, but I don't know if they are the same size. And one of the reasons why I like the ones where you have the cord is because every single time that I put one of those into the wall that is just hanging, it always comes loose. Like whenever you plug something in, it's like and then wobbles out. So this gives you a little bit longer extension cord from the outlet whenever you're sitting down on an airport, you're doing some editing. But also, it is incredibly reliable. Can highly recommend this. And then we have the Prime Gear Thunderbolt cables. These are also my own products, but they are the only Thunderbolt cables that I use nowadays. I have them here in my studio, I have them in my camera bag, I have them in my car, I charge my devices with these. They can manage anything that you throw at them, data transfer, power transfer, all at the same time, video transfer, you name it, they work. And in my opinion, they also look really freaking good. And here's probably one of my favorite parts with the Cyborg, the SD card storage unit that you get in the actual tech pouch. Green on one side, which is basically your own system for saying like these are good to go. Red on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4. All up to you how you want to create the system, but it's so cool to be able to have this and just being able to attach it simple as that with Velcro. And then we have this one, which is a small tiny piece, but also oh so important, is the Nomad tracking card. Being able to have this in my organizer right here also means that I don't need to have an AirTag in my camera bag because this works as an AirTag. So whenever I have my organizer in my camera bag, I know where my camera bag is at all times. That is the entire filling of the Cyborg. Again, I'm gonna drop a link down below. And that was the entire top compartment. Let's see what is in the bottom compartment. Ooh! We have the Sony A9 III together with a 50mm f1.2 GM. This is my go-to all-round camera. Like it can do everything that I want it to do. It can take the photos, it can shoot the videos, you can use crop mode in slow-mo, this is like global shutter. It is a beast of a camera. And the sensor is 24 megapixels, which means that the photos are not too big, doesn't take up too much space, and I just love the ergonomics of this thing. So whenever I'm not using the ZV-E1, this is the camera that I go for most of the time. Again, it can do everything that the ZV-E1 can, but more. So it's better in every single way that I've tried it, except for the low light performance. But I will also say, whenever I shoot in ISO 2000, 6000, 12,000 in my videos, no one has ever commented anything about my videos looking bad. And the 50mm is also probably my all-time favorite lens after the 1635. It's just so good. There's nothing else that compares that I've tried. And it does everything that you expect it to do and more. And when you're using the crop function in the camera, like the clear image zoom, you have a 50mm lens combined with an 85mm lens, especially when you're shooting video. And then this is the SanDisk ProBlade Transport together with SanDisk ProBlade SSD Mag. This one here is 4 terabytes and I have 4 of these. One that I usually bring with me on any sort of trip that I go, maybe with the family, maybe for work, it doesn't really matter. These ones are always with me so that I can transfer the footage from my cameras to an SSD on the fly. It has been working great. I've been using this setup for close to 3 years at this point, and I'm blown away by the reliability. It's expensive, but it's also worth the money if you're relying on this to be your job. What do I use to transfer this stuff to? It is actually the good old trusty MacBook Pro 16-inch M1 Max. I haven't felt the need to upgrade. It's just still doing a freaking amazing job of handling almost everything that I throw at it. So this is probably going to be with me until the day that it actually breaks. And for those of you wondering about the setup in my camera bag to be able to fit all of this, I have a top-loaded compartment with the bottom cube put right here. So I do have a space that I use for a little bit of different things. Might be a drone at sometimes, it might be some action cameras, but this is one of those compartments that I leave empty depending on what I'm going to do that specific day. And this right here is what it looks like up top. And now you might be wondering, Peter, don't you have any filters with you? Honestly, no, I just crank the shutter whenever I need to. And there's been no one that has actually commented on my videos looking strange. All of those things fits back in this. So there you go. That's what's in my camera bag as of 2026. Do not forget to take a look at the Tilta Arc. It's a great accessory that every photographer and videographer needs in their camera bag. Trust me on that. If you liked the video, do not forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, do all the things that is supposed to be done to a YouTube video. And I would be super grateful. Peter from Sweden is saying goodbye.